Oh, hey, hey, I'm okay. I'm not feeling my best, but oh, hey, girl, hey. Look at Coco. I made it my business to start Facebook first. I started Facebook, and then I went and I came back. Yes, I feel really, really congested. Um, excuse me. I'm gonna use one of my apple cider vinegar things to put in here. Hey, girl, hey. I did not get any poison pole in New York, niece. I don't be doing all of those shenanigans and things when I'm on the road working. I'm a spiritual woman. Spiritual woman. I don't do all of that on the road. And I'm trying to secure one man. Amen. I just need one man. Amen, niece. I just need one. Hey, girl, hey. I am drained, Datis. Listen. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, boy, hey. Hey, nee. Hey, boss lady. I'm feeling a little better. I'm not 100, but I'm feeling a little better. I was very much so congested and clogged up. Seriously. But anyway, good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice, well, somebody's voice. This is more like Michelle Yates' voice or B. Arthur's voice. On black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Yes, Fiji water, knees. I put my apple cider vinegar thing in here. I'm gonna drink this down. You know those drugs that I bought when I went over there to Panama? Remember I went to Panama back in January? Those of you who remember? I bought me some, what's it called? Azithromycin, which is an antibiotic. I bought some amoxicillin. I bought some muscle relaxers when I was in Panama, because you know you can buy that stuff over the counter. So what happened was on Friday, when I was in New York, I started to notice like a little scratchiness in my throat, right? It wasn't hurting. It wasn't sore. My throat has not been sore. But it was, it was a little scratchy. And so what I ended up doing was, well, remember, Darlene, I did go to Mexico. Remember, I went to Mexico in November. But I bought the drugs over there in Panama in January. But it wasn't sore. But you know how you get that little tickle in your throat? And so look at Don now telling me who got some Easter ham, leftover Easter ham. When I tell you, I gargled with some peroxide on Saturday. So I gargled with some peroxide just to kind of get that little, so it wouldn't start to, get sore or anything like that. I wanted to go ahead and get that bacteria up out of there. And then on Sunday, I started feeling it a little bit more. It had gone away on Saturday after I gargled with the peroxide. But then on Sunday, it was just like, it was coming back. It still was never sore, but it was coming back. And so my friend Danielle that I stayed with in New York, she ended up making me some hot water with some fresh lemon. She squeezed some lemon in it, and she had some fresh ginger root that she put in there, and I drank that. So that kind of loosened like the stuffiness up. It kind of opened up the stuffiness that was up here, and I felt like a sinus headache. It was like a headache like behind my eyes, and at the crown of my head. So that was Sunday. But Sunday we had the brunch. So I went to the brunch, the Queens Supreme Court brunch. I had the brunch, and I was trying my best to be smiling and to be nice and all of that stuff, because A lot of times when you meet people for the first time, they want all of this. They want to see all your excitement and stuff, right? And so I didn't want to be like, hey, how you doing? You know, they'd be like, oh, he funny acting in person. But I was really feeling down. I mean, not down, but I was feeling under the weather. And so got through the brunch, but I went straight back to Danielle's house after that, and I laid down. And then Monday was the show. And it rained a little bit, so I was kind of in the rain a little bit. It was a little chilly, and my body started aching. My body started aching. You know how you start feeling them aches and shit in your joints? And so I started feeling aches in my spine and like in my knees and shit. And it's just like, oh God, here we go. And so I was starting to feel like a little headache and stuff. So, Alpha Charms. I did meet Alpha Charm. Yes, I really couldn't, but I was trying my best. And so then Monday, it was a wrap. Like I was really, really achy. And I was a little irritable. And then I got back to Danielle's house. It was like 2 in the morning or 1 in the morning, something. And I got in and I made a quick smoothie because I was hungry. So I made a quick smoothie. And then I got up Tuesday to get my flight. But I had to pack, and so I was really feeling achy and I really couldn't pull it together. But anyway, I jumped on that plane, got back down here, and as soon as I came home, and I was gonna get on the live last night, but I just did not have the energy. And I was coughing a lot, I was blowing my nose a lot. Every time I talked too much, like my voice would get short and I would start coughing. Every time I laughed, I would cough. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't be all on here blowing my nose and carrying on. I really didn't even think I was gonna be able to get on here tonight. But maybe that antibiotic that I took had went on through this system. Thank you, Stacy Purnell. That antibiotic went on through this system and pulled all of that mucus up out of there. And so I just situated my situation. I just got out of the shower. And I saw that old smart-ass comment that Alicia put up there on the Facebook talking about, you might look like you 25, but that body is 42 and 355 days old. She tried it. So anyway, I just got out of the shower. I took me a nice hot tea last night when I got in the house too. I did a nice chamomile tea. I ordered my groceries through Amazon Fresh on Monday, so they would be here on Tuesday when I got back. And so I ordered some really nice, big, plump, organic lemons. So I squeezed the lemon in my tea, and I put some ground cinnamon in there. That's really good for you too. I did that last night, and I went to bed. I brushed my teeth and flossed my teeth, and I went to bed. I took a shower right before I got on the plane yesterday to come back to Atlanta. And I usually like to take a shower again when I get home after the plane, because you're on there with all those germs and stuff. But I just didn't have the energy. So after I brushed and flossed my teeth, because that oral hygiene is important, I went on and climbed into bed. And then I woke up at like 3 in the morning. And I don't know why I woke up at 3, but I did. I've been taking my turmeric pills that Tonette sent me, my Japanese turmeric pills. I've been taking those. And here go my mother. Well, I can't believe you even got a cold. I'm surprised that all that healthy stuff that you drink didn't thwart that virus or whatever that is. Girl, be careful. Just because you eat healthy doesn't mean you can't catch it. Thank you, Alpha Charm. She said you have really good skin, though. Thank you. You have really good skin, too. Lemon, Ryan, I was so happy to meet you in New York. I was happy to meet you, too. But, so anyway, I woke up this morning at like 3 in the morning. And you know how like the sweat pours out of your body? Like I could tell the sheets were wet in my bed. So clearly they got to come off the bed. So I could feel the cold just leaving my body. And so I got up and I was shaking. Like I had like these hot and cold flashes. And so I got up. What did I do when I got up? I got up and I took another antibiotic. And then I was up for about an hour. I watched some Judge Judy. You know I'm a Judge Judy fanatic. I watched her. And then I went back to sleep. And then today I just been resting and just trying to pull it together. But my appetite hasn't left. That appetite didn't leave. But listen, I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple things. Oh yeah, when does Being Mary Jane come on? That came on yesterday? The finale? I think it was yesterday, right? Listen. So I did take Alicia's advice and when I woke up, I got up and I sliced up some onion and I put on a pair of socks and I put the onion in the sock. Girl, I don't know if that really helped. I don't know where y'all come up with this stuff from. P. Marcel Craig said, Craig, I'm missing calls for this live. Okay, I need to watch Being Mary Jane when I get off of here with you guys. I should have watched it earlier today, but I forgot about it. Was it good? Was it good? Excuse me. Girl, I don't think that onion shit worked. I don't know where y'all get that shit from. My feet smell like onion and carrying on. Sheets smell like onions. Alpha Charm said you need some West Indian. No, she said you need some West African pepper soup. Wise Informant said it was too predictable. But see, that's why I stopped watching it. That's why I stopped watching Tiffany Smith Bell talking about onions in the sock really work. Well, girl, listen, that's why I stopped watching Being Mary Jane, because to me it became too predictable. When Mara Brock Akil left the show, when I say she left the show, I mean she was no longer writing. She was still like a consultant and still was an executive producer because she created the show. But remember, she left there. She left Being Mary Jane and started developing Love Is, our show Love Is. Remember, she started developing that show for OWN. And of course, they only made it through one season and then they got snatched because her husband got caught up in that scandal. But she also started doing that show Black Lightning. So she was no longer over there. The person who was over Being Mary Jane was Patrick Ian Polk. Look at Sharita talking about, not too much, Craig. It was still good writing. Girl, whatever. Some of y'all think Tyler Perry stuff is good. So, BJ, Love Is not coming back. Sorry, niece. Now, they might take it over to another network or something like that, but Oprah said, I'm not getting tied up in that foolishness. So anyway, I stopped watching it because it was too predictable. And the person who became like the lead writer on Being Mary Jane was Patrick Ian Polk. Remember, he created Noah's Ark. And I know all of the gays love Noah's Ark, but I didn't really think Noah's Ark was that great. Now, I mean, listen, y'all can throw tomatoes at me if you want to. Don't care, because I don't feel that well tonight, no way. But listen, what was the name of the show that I just said? I don't even remember that quick. We need to get your ass in the writer's room. Listen, I would love to write a television show. Wise Informant. What was the show that I just said? Patrick, Noah's Ark. Yes, listen. No, Alpha Charm, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Alpha Charm said Noah's Ark was okay, but the acting could have been better. Girl, that acting was so low budget. Girl, that acting was so bad was just as bad, if not worse, than Pose. Season 1 of Pose. But I did get over the horrible acting on Pose because the storyline started to really develop on Pose. But here's what I'm going to say about Noah's Ark. Now, I know a lot of the gays love Noah's Ark. And look, listen, I don't care. Look, y'all may be upset with me for saying this. Listen, there are things that I thought was great about Noah's Ark. For one, I think it was great because we needed a black show. We needed a black show. So I will always celebrate that show for being the first black gay show, right? Donna Brown, yes, I saw that you ordered your mugs. Thank you. And I saw that you received your greeting cards too. I really appreciate you. But for me, Noah's Ark was great because it was the first and we needed a demonstration, right? Gay people, black gay men needed to see ourselves modeled on TV. We needed to see, just like back in the day, black folks needed the Cosby Show. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. And let me tell you about Delta Airlines too. Let me write this down. Delta And then we got a couple things to talk about. I didn't think I was going to be on here that long, but I'm starting to feel a little better now. I'm sitting on here. Listen, black folks needed the Cosby Show back in the 80s, and I'll tell you what I mean. When the Cosby Show hit the air, and for all of my people who you millennials may not know what I'm talking about, but when the Cosby Show came on, there were no black shows. No, I was going to compliment Delta Airlines. But yes, Donnell Holt, and We Needed a Different World. But I'm going to start with the Cosby Show. When the Cosby Show hit the air, it was the only show with two people, a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, who were professionals, who were educated, and who were accomplished. Now, we had the Jeffersons, but Weezy was a stay-at-home mother. And George didn't have no education. He just happened to be an entrepreneur turned millionaire. The Cosby Show was the first show where they were, Daltish, you can tell I'm feeling better. The Cosby Show was the first show where there were two educated people, and they were both educated, they were self-made, you know what I'm saying? They were upwardly mobile. So black folks needed that show because prior to that show, we didn't see black folks living that way on television. We only had Sanford and Son. We only had Good Times. Hello? Shit like that. So the same is true for black gay men. We needed Noah's Ark. But for me, I was disappointed with the show because it just didn't. I mean, I can kind of get past the acting. That wasn't really the biggest grievance for me, even though the acting was quite egregious. But for me, the writing was trite. The storylines were poorly developed. How many of y'all used to watch Noah's Ark? Because if I go into it, are you going to know what I'm talking about? For example, remember Ricky, the light-skinned one? The one who owned the boutique? The third book is $20. One book is $20, $2, $36, $3.54. Okay, so you guys did watch. Okay, so yes, the sex addict. The guy, Ricky, who had the boutique, he was the sex addict. So part of my issue with the show was, and why I say that the characters were poorly developed, which is a big problem with Tyler Perry shows, and movies. But with Noah's Ark, remember when he started dating Jacinto? Come on, people. Y'all remember Jacinto? What word did you need me to spell, wise informant? I'm sorry. Remember Jacinto? Remember the guy that Ricky was dating? It was on Logo, Colamet. It came on Logo. And remember when he started dating Janito? Did I say Jacinto? Janito. Okay, so Janito was HIV positive, right? Oh, Lola said, listen, I got this. I'm sorry, Lola. You handle your business over there. So when Ricky started dating Janito and the whole conversation came up about someone negative, HIV negative, dating someone HIV positive, there was so much for them to play on. There was so much for them to really dissect and for them to really develop that storyline. To me, they handled it, and Noah's Ark was only a 30-minute show. When I say they talked about that in that one little segment and it was done, let me tell you, as a person who dated someone HIV positive, in fact, I've dated 3 people in my lifetime. When I say dated, I mean I've been in relationships with 3 people that were positive, HIV positive. But the very first time that I dated someone that was HIV positive, you guys know the story if you've read the book. It's in the first book. When I dated Salim, there was a lot that went through my mind, okay? And I don't care how evolved you are, how forward-thinking you are, and I try to talk about this as often as possible without offending. It's always something to consider. It's always something to really, at least for me, when I dated this first guy, Salim, and I learned that he was HIV positive, your mind just wanders. You wonder whether or not it's the right decision. You wonder whether or not, excuse me, you're putting yourself at risk. I mean, you're human. You think about the human things. But for me on this TV show, I don't really feel like they brought out all of the conversations that they should have brought out. Ricky had one conversation with his friends, and he was just like, "Oh, well, he's positive, and I just don't know if I should date him." And they had one little conversation, and he was over it, and he was okay with dating him. I was just like, "No, that ain't how it worked with me." And anybody that I know that dated somebody that was positive, you had extensive conversation, like, bitch, like, what you gonna do? And like, Salim and I, we had conversations about his medications. Like, I remember we used to beef about his medications because he would sometimes come to my house for the weekend and he wouldn't have his medication. And I'd be like, where is your medication? Why would you come over here for the weekend and don't have your medication? Like, there were so many pieces that they could have talked about. They should have strung that along through the entire season. They should have talked about, they should have developed it more. There should have been more scenarios around that because there are so many people who deal with that, who are in those circumstances. And so for me, it wasn't enough. I just didn't like it. And so when you guys hear me say that I don't like Tyler's stuff or why I didn't like Noah's Ark, that's the reason that I didn't like it. And people just think that I just have no reason or rhyme or reason for why I don't like this stuff. And it's not true. There are reasons why I don't like this stuff. So that's that. But I think that was all I wanted to say about that. So I'm kind of leery about watching Being Mary Jane because, again, it lost its power. Being Mary Jane was its best around season 2 and 3. And then it just kind of went down line. Yes, that storyline, I think they did like 2 or 3 storylines, but 2 or 3 conversations in like different episodes. But that's what I'm saying. I think they really it should have been threaded throughout. I don't like Lee Daniels stuff either. I can't stand Power. I mean, I love Power. That ain't his stuff. I can't stand Empire. I don't even watch that. And I only tried to watch the first episode of the first season of Star. Good night. Oh, Alicia's finally here. She got me wasting my onions, putting them in socks. So I'm going to watch Being Mary Jane and see. Alpha Charm, you like Star? See, But Power is my show. They say this is a big, rich town. I'm just here from the poorest part. All right, I ain't got that kind of vocal stamina tonight, okay? Now let me tell you about Delta Airlines. When I tell you Delta Airlines is the premier airline, Delta Airlines is the premier airline. I don't care what y'all say. I do like the shot, Danielle ASB. I do like, Selena Cooper. You've never seen Power? Niche, you need to go on back to season 1 and start over. Girl, go to season 1. Girl, let me tell you about Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines is the premier airline. Okay? I flew Delta this time, going to New York and coming back, right? Now, this particular trip, because I was gone for about 5 days, I couldn't take my little duffel bag. I usually take a little duffel bag and my little backpack. I know I'm a little hot. Tiffany, I am kind of coming off of a virus or something, girl. She told me I'm not having some kind of a, what's she saying? A private summer. Anyway, so I took my bag, my luggage, with the wheels, right? Let me explain something to you. I knew that bag was too big to carry on, right? I knew it when I went through security, but I'm TSA pre-check. So I went straight to TSA pre-check, and I had this big ass luggage I'm walking through, right? The bag was so damn big, I didn't even know if it was gonna go through the conveyor belt, through the screening. Well, girl, she went through there. So I get through there, and so I get to the gate. And, Delta charged you $35 for a bag, to check a bag. Now, once upon a time, it used to be free. But Delta is giving, no, niece, it's $35 per bag that you check. And I don't like to check a bag because when I get off the plane, I want to go. I don't want to go to the baggage claim. I don't want to run the risk of you losing my bag. When I tell you, I got to that gate and I said, I'm not paying $35. I said, I'm going straight to the gate. And so I figured it out in my head that they were just going to go ahead and check my bag for me, right? So sure enough, when I got back there, they were like, ladies and gentlemen, we have a full flight this evening. No, this morning, because I went there, it was in the morning when I went up. They were like, this morning we have a full flight, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to be checking all remaining bags. I said, oh, okay, look at God. Look at God. So I went on and checked my bag, and so they, of course, clowned me, talking about, this bag was too big anyway. So I'm going to make another tea when I get off of here with you guys. I'm going to make another tea. I got my turmeric and all that stuff over there. So when I was coming back, I said, I'm going to do the same thing. So I go through security and I get to the gate. And sure enough, here they go again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a bag that has wheels, we're going to go ahead and check all of the bags. We don't have any more room. We're going to check all of the bags. I get to the counter. Here you go, this black girl. Here you go, this black girl. Oh, sir. Girl, don't try me at this gate in front of these white people. Here she go. Oh, sir. That bag is way too big. She said, you know you were supposed to check that bag. I said, oh, no, I didn't know that. Here she go. Well, I'm going to let you go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and check it this time. She said, but no, that's a $35 charge right there. She said, yeah, they must have let you slide through here this time. I said, actually, I flew up here with this bag, too. She was like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should have charged you. That's a $35 charge. Here comes this Hispanic guy behind her. Now, mind you, she'd already told me she said, just go ahead and scan your thing, and I'm going to go ahead and, bag it, put a tag on it this time. She said, but in the future, if you bring that bag, that's going to be $35. Here comes this Hispanic guy behind her. Oh, sir, that's the $35 charge. He said, that's that. I said, she already told me that. Give me my tag. She already told me that. She already said she was going to check my bag. Give me my tag, niece. Do you understand that would have been a $70 charge if I had paid $35 going up and $35 coming back? Anybody got time for that? Y'all better go ahead. Anyway, but Delta is the premier airline, okay? When I say I got on there and I got in that little comfortable seat. Now, I'm not a fan of Spirit Airlines. I have flown them a few times, but I'm not a fan of Spirit. But what I will tell you is, Spirit has never hit the ground. Did you all know that? Oh, I need to check my Sky Miles to make sure they gave me my credit for my flight to New York and back. Yeah, Southwest, they'll let you travel with 2 bags for free. They'll let you travel with 2 bags for free. But what I will say is, the only thing I don't like about Southwest is that cattle call. Girl, can you give me a seat assignment? Give me a seat assignment. Like, I don't like all that run. And you know what I can't stand about some of you? And it's mostly white people that do this shit. Good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. It's mostly white people that do this shit. How many of y'all fly on Southwest? Okay, so if you fly on Southwest, you're going to know what I'm talking about. So they're going to tell you that you line up according to your, your seat number or whatever, right? Your boarding category. And so it'll say A1 through 13, 15 through 30. And so you have your number, right? And so you're supposed to stand up next to that thing, right? Based on what number you have. It's always the white people that be like, what number do you have? Girl, I can count. Don't be worried about what number I have. You just back up because I'm in front of you. You know what I'm saying? They always want to be trying to look at your number. Girl, I got this. They be like, oh, what number are you? Don't worry about, you just worry about your number. I got mine. Let me stand here. But that's the only thing I don't like about Southwest. That's the only thing I don't like about them. And then I always see people trying to look at my number. You know how you standing there and they be trying to look at your number. I turn mine over intentionally so they can't see it. Stop looking at my shit. But yes, I was excited about flying on Delta this time because it was really nice. I like American too. Ooh. I like American too. American is not bad. I flew on them for the first time in a long time, wherever I went recently. But let me tell you this. This is what I did want to talk about. All right, this is where we get, not serious, but we get serious. What time is it? Girl, it's hot. All right, so I want you to really think about, we talk about energy a lot on here. I want you to start thinking, if you don't already, I want you to start thinking about the energy that you put into the universe, right? Happy birthday. Was that Honey Bee that said she had a birthday today? Happy birthday, Honey Bee. Yeah, I think my fever is breaking. Girl, Frontier is okay. Listen, I wouldn't say they're the best. And the Frontier's never hit the ground before either. Frontier's never hit the ground. Spirit has never hit the ground. Y'all can say what y'all want about those two airlines, but they've never crashed. And it's been years since Delta crashed too now. No shade. But Spirit and Frontier have never crashed. But here's what I wanted to talk to you about really quickly. If you don't already think about the energy that you put out into the universe, I want you to start thinking about the energy that you put out into the universe. I want you to think about the posts that you make on your social media, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube. Think about the energy that you put into the universe. Because I believe that with everything that you put out, there's a reaction to it. I believe in, you send vibrations into the universe, right? With that being said, I remember when I was writing my first book in 2011. In 2011, so it's been about 8 years, that I really became conscious of what I would post on my social media, like what I would post on Facebook. Dante. I started thinking about what I would post on my social media. Because there was something in me at that point, and I didn't know why, but there was something in me at that point that I just knew, there was a part of me that just knew that there would come a time when I would have to be responsible for the things that I would post on my social media. So there came a time where I realized that I had to be really, really, I had to be accountable for the things that I would post, like whether it was a Facebook post or whatever it was. I had to think about the things that I would say. Or at the time, if it was Twitter or whatever, I would think about it because I knew that there would come a time where there would be people who would read my posts and they would read my posts and I guess would hold on to my words or would take my words at face value, right? So I say all that to say, I knew that there would come a time when I couldn't just be reckless with the Facebook post, saying anything recklessly, right? Because I knew that there would be people who would take it to heart. And so the case with this young boy, he's 15, he was 15, Nigel, young gay boy, I think it was in Alabama, don't quote me. He committed suicide. A young black 15-year-old boy, he committed suicide because he was getting bullied for being gay. And it goes back to what I was saying a moment ago, when you talk, using social media responsibly. And not just because you're worried about posting, it was Huntsville, Alabama, okay. Not just because you're worried about a job or someone looking at your Facebook post. Because I know a lot of you have your page as private. But remember, people can screenshot your page and still send it and share it, right? So you got to think about the things that you post. If you're sharing fights, if you're sharing whatever kind of negative shit, right? Whatever kind of, just think about the energy. There's energy and intentions behind all of those things. So when the whole thing happened with Kevin Hart recently, when it was all of this, it was a brouhaha about whether or not he should be allowed to host the Oscars because of some tweets that he tweeted back like 8-9 years ago. And I understand that it was 8-9 years ago, but we have to think about intention, and we have to think about once you release something into social media, it's like a secret. Once you release it, once you tell a secret, you have no control over where it goes, right? And the same is true with social media. Once you post something on your social media, you have no control over where it goes. So while I understand and I believe in giving people a second chance or forgiveness in the case of Kevin Hart posting about gay people and if his son was gay, he would, whatever it was that he said. And I understand that he did offer an apology, he issued an apology. But when we think about tweets like that, when we think about the hateful comments that your Kim Burrells make about gay people, and those of you who still support her, especially those of you that are gay that still support her because she's a vocal beast, and you make all these excuses for her because she's such an amazing, anointed singer. That's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough reason to continue to support her. You have to think about the vitriol. You have to think about the Thai Tribbits, and people like that who use these platforms and say things like that about gay people. That sends a vibration into the universe. That vibration that they send into the universe affects people. And you have to remember, not everybody is strong. Not everybody knows their name, as I say. Not everybody knows their name. And so a young boy like this guy, Nigel Shelby, who committed suicide, he hears that kind of stuff. You know, he has the potential or the capacity to read a tweet that Kevin Hart may have sent. So while many of you may have said, oh, well, that was 9 years ago, Kevin Hart tweeted that. I mean, get over it. That was 9 years ago. But the reality is you never know who read it. You never know who read it. You never know how it impacted somebody. You never know how it affected someone. And you never know if a person is already on the edge. And then to hear a Kim Burrell saying all of you are going to hell, you're going to burn in hell, and it's wrong, and it's this, and you're going to get AIDS, and all of the stuff that she says. And it's not just those two. I'm just giving you those two as an example. I mean, even when you hear people like Donnie McClurkin saying that, you know, it's wrong to be gay, and, you know, even though he... But, you know, you have to think about the impact that it has on people. And so on some level, those kids that this young boy went to school with that were bullying him, at some point, at some place, at some juncture in their life, they learned that it was wrong to be gay. They were taught that it was wrong to be gay. Hence, them bullying this young boy because he was gay. So we really have to think about the things that we post, the things that we say. You have to think about the energy that you carry with you to your job, to your home. You have to think about the energy that you bring with you in every space, to your relationships. You have to think about the energy that you bring because it impacts people and it affects people. So you really have to think about that. And so I was really, really disappointed, really saddened. I don't know the backstory of how this young boy took his life. That's not really important. But that little boy is the reason why we donate books. It's the reason why those of you that help me donate books to these gay youth organizations. So like Marcellus, who recently hit me like a week or so ago and said, are we still doing that? Yes, I will always do that. I always want to donate copies of those books, of the first book in particular, because I really believe in my spirit, in my heart of hearts, that book is the reason that I was born. I believe I was born and created to tell that story. If I do nothing else, I believe that that was my contribution. And I learned that and realized that as I was writing that book was for young boys like him who offered an apology for who they are, who thought that being who they are is inherently wrong. So that is the reason why we've been gifting books to LGBTQ youth organizations. I think it's important. And I think that the more young gay people know about who they are and what they come from, the taller they will stand. There's a very, very rich gay history, black gay history in particular. I've mentioned this before. It's been a while since I've mentioned it. But there are people like Bayard Rustin. Some of you may say Bayard Rustin, but Bayard Rustin, for those who don't know, was Martin Luther King's right-hand man. He was Martin Luther King's right-hand man. He is the reason that the civil rights movement happened. He organized the what's it called? The Freedom Riders. You know what I mean? He organized that. He was out and gay back then. He was out and gay back then. So there's a rich black history, and I think black gay history, and I think that I really would love for my first book in particular to make it in the hands of a black gay studies course, a college course, because it's really important for us. It's just like Black Pride. It's just like Black Pride. Black has always been beautiful, but we haven't always believed we were beautiful until we learned of our rich history. We had to know from which we've come. We had to know that we come from kings and queens, and we had to know the contributions that we've made to this society, to know who we are, to know our name. And so, you know, there are a lot of people. Another one, part of the community. James Baldwin, Audre Lorde. You understand? Yes, Honeybee, the books are on Audible. She said she doesn't have time to read. Niece, they're on Audible. Go ahead and listen. And those of you that have been downloading, the Harlem Renaissance icons, period, were black and gay, niece. So I just think that those are the kind of stories that young gay people need to learn. And so for like these gay youth organizations, in particular these black gay youth organizations, I think it's important that that kind of history is taught in those organizations, because these kids need to know from which they come. They need to know from which Essex Hemphill, your Elin Harris's, you know, the list goes on and on. But those of you that have been downloading the book, thank you, Allie Bracy. Those of you that have been downloading the book to your tablet, I appreciate it. A little residual check came in the mail today. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, girl, hey. He needed them little coins. He needed them little couple dollars. But listen, think about that. Think about that, Nick. Girl. Listen, I'm going to get off here because I need to continue to kind of get my tea and stuff together. But what's tomorrow? Thursday? I'll be on here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow. So listen, brush your teeth, floss your teeth, brush your tongue. I'm about to go in here and oil pull. Yes, the books are on Audible. They're on Audible. All e-readers. You can cash at me if you want to purchase your book directly from me. Nikki will ship them out to you. I'll sign them, ship them out to you. And also, we donate books to gay youth organizations. So if you want to donate some books, you can cash at me and put in the cash app that you want to donate the books, and we'll add it to the list of places that we're sending books to. All right? I'm going to go ahead and watch this Being Mary Jane, and I'll have a full report tomorrow if it's worth talking about. All right? Have an amazing night. Thank you for being here. I thank you for being patient with me as I convalesce. Bye.